Part 3 to what if Deku was like Mikey. So, we basically left off where Deku was training with Momo. And he was basically telling him, like, killing is kind of essential when you're fighting in places like this. And he just sums up, like, hey, like, this is some dummy good training. Because imagine how much stronger you're going to be compared to your peers. Think about it. If you're able to keep up with me, and I'm able to fold up on adults and stuff, imagine what we'll get like when we actually get into high school. Well, he says middle school, but... And so he's like, think about it. And she's like, you're right. So they proceed to do some training. And Deku's like, you know, actually fighting and stuff. So she's just losing all of these fights for the most part. Because this Deku just has like this innate natural talent. And also he's constantly dealing with his dark pulse. And he's always like, there's been a few times he kind of almost got out of control. But Momo tries to like smack some sense into him. And he's like, thank you. So basically they proceed to keep up their training. And Deku also proceeds to do some slight vigilante work. But that's that low-key shit nobody need to know about. Even though maybe a couple of the maids might know, we digress. Now, you might be like, what is Momo doing about school? Well, she took an absent leave for family matters. Because she can do that. She kept up with her studies because Deku's smart, and he kept up with his studies only because Momo was being very persistent, but not in like a Bomo or Chi-Chi way, but more in like a feminine, caring, nurturing way. Like, come on, please keep up with your studies. I don't know, it's either you get it or you don't. And so with that being the said point in case, Deku is keeping up with his studies by basically reading through the books that she's got and also keeping up with his training. So they basically just sit there training all sorts of stuff. Now, after the training's done, we're about 3/4 away from this month. And then they got on one more month before it's a full-on year. And they basically is like, all right, here we go. Now, I'm not going to do this where it's like a majorly big body tournament where I'm making up all these fan people and these people. I might bring some people back, but I'm not gonna specify just because this is a freestyle, really. It's a free, not freestyle on some shit, my boy. But I digress. So they basically hop up through this tournament and shit, right? They eager, they ready to go on some big body flow. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, let's go, let's get it. So, with this being said, and this being the point, Spider Queen and then the Majin, she calls himself the Majin, Mikey the Majin or some shit like that, you know? And yeah, so basically they start going in this tournament and they both in different brackets. The brackets can meet up if, you know, they win, and since they're the main characters, they have like basically kind of breezed through their fights. But what ends up happening is it becomes a three-way when it's Momo versus Deku versus Toga. So, with this being said in case, now you might be like, what the fuck's Toga doing here? Well, after her quirk awakened, she was very depressed and kind of wandered around the street for a little bit. On and off, okay? With this being point in case, she kept hearing rumors about this kid that's Majin, this kid that's, you know, a psychopath. Also, since she's in a well-known family, she also hears about, you know, this kid staying with the Momos, or I don't know what their actual last name is, but staying with them. So she got kind of curious and did some research. She played the innocent girl card and started acting normal just so she could use her family resource. Long story short, she was able to meet up with them. Now, during this point in case, I believe she would still have retained some of her acrobatic abilities, and they all would proceed to fight. And Deku's like, where have I seen you somewhere before? And let's just say Deku has meeting her like on the playground or some random ass shit, right? And Deku's like, let me take this one on. And Momo's like, wait, what? Let me take her on. You can fight the winner. The joke there would have been like if Deku ever seen Momo arguing with one of the maids or something. I call winner. It's something like that. So, with this being said, Deku starts throwing some decent hands with her, trying to get a feel for her skill. And surprisingly, she's pretty good. And he's like, why don't you use your quirk? And she's like, I can say the same to you. Well, one, I'm quirkless. Two, I'm pretty sure you got a quirk. I think I remember hearing something about you crying about it. And she's talking about, my quirk doesn't really do much. All it really does is I just, I could transform into people and stuff like that. Now, this is where the events change, even though I've already changed a lot. Is he's like, well, your quirk would be very good for getting information and stuff like that. Plus, me not having a quirk, I ended up doing a lot of research, and him always being around bad people, he learned about this thing called a quirk awakening. And since you're getting DNA from other people, would it be possible for you to use other people's quirks? I don't know so much about the quirk awakening due to the fact that I don't have a quirk myself, but and she's like, I never looked at it like that. Basically, he rephrases it in such a positive manner that she actually wants to become a hero. And Deku actually heard a little bit about her, you know, rumor flies, because the damn near about be a year that he spent over with Momo. He's like, yeah, excellent. And he's like, oh, it was you that I kept hearing about, the blood girl, the psychopath, blah, blah, blah. People proceeded to boo and all sorts of stuff because they want to see carnage. And so Deku's like, all right, cool beans. And I'll say she actually seen a couple of his matches too, with him having blood all over him and stuff like that. Deku's like, all right, I'm gonna fight seriously now. And she's actually, Tomo's like actually shocked. She's like, wait, what? I'm gonna fight you seriously. As he begins to not really power up, but starts to like channel his inner energy. And he's like, all right, here I come. And so the fight begins. And then Toga looks at Momo and says, a little help, please. And they basically proceed to start fighting Deku on some Whis type beat, Goku and Vegeta flow, right? So they, good hands, beat, good hands, weave, good hands. It's really a good fight. And then Toga would proceed to be like, all right, you trained with him longer, or, well, not longer, you've trained with him the most. Do you know if he has any weakness? Yes, I do know. And she's like, okay, well, just spit it out already. He doesn't. There is no way he doesn't have a weakness. The first time I met him, he literally got shot and didn't bat an eye. Toga said, well, that's troublesome. Wait, can't you make weapons? And she's like, yeah, make me a couple of knives or so. How many? He's like, maybe like 50 or so. They would have like a whole comedic like little scene with this. I can't make that many, I'd pass out. Well, you're not really doing too much now. What was that? Nothing. Basically, then she'll make Toga a couple of knives, and then Momo would be like, all right, fuck it. She pulls out the katana she's, had sheathed, and then they both proceed to charge at Deku, trying to do combination moves right up on the fly. Such as, like, she throws her knives. She throw a knife or two, which she brought her own, but she kind of threw them already. And some of them got broken in her previous match. She threw a couple while, Momo parries, but like hits them into each other to make one project further. They were trying all sorts of stuff, but Deku wasn't having none of it. And Deku was like, time to end this. And then he's like, no. I'll say he actually gets stabbed by one, or almost gets stabbed. And then that's when it snaps, and Momo's like, we lost. And she's like, wait, Toga's like, wait, what? What do you mean? He's about to kill us. He's either about to kill us or damage us really badly. And all you hear is, you die now. And all you hear is dark pulse. But you don't hear him say it, you just hear it. Dark pulse. And then you just see him, like his eyes go blackish. Like, when someone's losing their light in their eyes, it's kind of like that. And then Deku just pulls up. Shotgun. One shots Toga. Looks at Momo. And he peers above her head. She parries the punch with her katana. And then he's like, all you hear is sniper rifle. He does it again with the other hand. And now you just see this onslaught of sniper rifles. Just sniper rifle. Deku Deku pops right in front of her, cocks his hand back, gets his right hand right in front of him, and he's like, pissed off, bullet, as he extends his middle finger outward. Not Toga. Momo basically deflects this shit too, and she's like, but barely. And her sword's, you know, seen better days, okay? And so the sword's just about to, like, literally get broken. It doesn't know what to do. And she parries that, tries to go in for a slash with the intent to kill. And then she looks and realizes that Deku's leg is not right where it's supposed to be. And she realized that he jumped. And then he looks at her, flips around, and does some weird fucking shit. And basically says, you tried, but now die. And with the last bit of her sword that she could muster, all you hear is double machine gun. Boom. And like, you just see this onslaught of kicks. And her sword basically got shattered in this process. So now she's unarmed and fucked. And then Deku looks like basically appears right in front of her with his left hand up in the air and just says, die. Sword slash. And then slashes the bitch right on her eye. And then straight down, blood gushing out everywhere. And then he cocks his hand back and just says, bam. And I mean, he damn near broke the damn cage with her body as a, you know, template, and just bam. Panting him. I am the victor. And then he passes out. And this is pretty much where we would leave it off, because I'm not going to do too much more on this particular part. Hope y'all guys enjoy it. Like, sub, do all that good shit. Love y'all guys. Catch y'all later, peeps.